Let me put my light on.
Oh yeah, I need you sexy.
We look like we've had some weird Botox.
I reckon we look like we've been on plant medicine. I like that you said that the breath and you're struggling for air and it sort of gets you into that flight mode and it makes you sort of how you do that, it sort of makes you relate to life.
There is nothing better than standing up
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
moving. Right? Namaste, amigos. This is Vanessa and Aisha, two wildly passionate women coming to you from opposite sides of the world, Australia and Mexico. This podcast is for you, about you, all of us, all women from all walks of lives, sharing our stories, our truths, our struggles as we uplift, transform, break boundaries, and grow. Hi guys, this is Vanessa and Aisha coming to you with a fun topic, a light topic today. This is the habits that empower you, little things, little routines that we like to do, and we'll share them with you. We'd love some feedback on what your favorite routines are and habits that empower you. Let's get right into it. I know that Aisha is a big workout fanatic, especially because we film at a time where it's right into her workout. So tell us about your workout, girlfriend.
Yeah, so it's really funny. If I don't work out, I really have shit energy flow. I mean, I've really noticed that. I've tried it both ways, but I know that exercising has truly helped me in any time of my life that I'm going through a downer, I'm going through a little bit of stagnation, I'm feeling shit about myself. The best thing for me is to move my body. I know at times I don't feel like it. I feel like I just want to stay in bed and mope around, and that's great. But I tell you, the moment you start feeling a little bit of heat in your body, you start sweating a little bit, it shifts the way your energy's flowing. And that's been a fucking huge one for me. Like moving my body and just getting that energy has really, really helped me. You also like exercising, but you do yoga. Um,
I'm a big I do interval training
mm,
and I do power yoga. I'm a big yoga fanatic, and because I live in Cancun, I don't get I'm a big well, before he was prosecuted. I was a big Bikram fan. So Bikram, I like the hot, I like the heat. I love to practice in the heat. There's something about being in those hot rooms
yeah.
that just the way you show up in a hot studio is the way you show up in life. And it's all that like survival mode kind of kicks in, and you're like, it's so hot, I can't take it, open the door. But it's how do you kind of deal with that, and through your breath work through it. So there's something that I love about that.
Wow.
Unfortunately, here in Mexico, you can't find it. Well, not in Cancun. But the good thing is we deal with 100% humidity 3 months of the year. So really my workouts, I end up drenched. I have no AC. I don't like to work out with AC. So yeah, my morning is definitely based on an hour of at least of yoga and 20 minutes of interval training.
That's so funny how you spoke about the way you experience exercising, very different to me. So I wouldn't have I like that you said that the breath and you're struggling for air and it sort of gets you into that flight mode and it makes you sort of how you do that, it sort of makes you relate to life.
Have you ever been in a room in a 40-degree room?
I've tried Bikram yoga, but I'll tell you something.
It's not your thing.
Yes, it's hard, but you know what? It's really funny that because I have so many people saying, "I don't like to exercise." And I was like, "Dude, like you got to find some sort of movement that you like, whether it's dancing, whether
Yeah.
it's Bikram yoga, whether for me it's running and doing like weight training. A lot of people like, it's funny because a lot of people say, I don't like gyms. I said, okay, so run outside or do whatever. And with me, I love gyms. Okay. I love gyms. And people say, go for a run outside. Nah, I'm not going for a run outside. I just want to get my workout done. I feel really good. And that's what I try and say to people all the time is like, you don't have to do it my way,
Right.
but find some sort of activity where you're just releasing energy and you're shifting that energy, right? You're moving because everybody has it. It's just that it's stagnant and you
Yeah.
need to actually move that energy. So yeah, it's funny how we both related to it very differently, but exercise plays a massive part in both of our lives.
Huge. And
Uh,
I think to shift, I'm sorry to cut you off, but in any minute, if you're at a desk job
mm,
and you're sitting down and you need to go to a meeting and kind of give a
yeah,
presentation or something, there is nothing better than standing up
yeah,
and
yeah,
moving, right? And it gives you a whole
dude,
different,
yeah,
like, it wakes your whole nervous system
yeah.
up
Agreed,
because
agreed,
your
agreed,
physiology changes everything.
agreed.
If you're like this behind the desk, crawled up, you're not going to give the same presentation as though if you've moved your whole body, you know?
Absolutely. And you know what? You know how they talk about power poses as well? When you start exercising, you naturally stand taller. You
Mhm,
naturally
mhm.
walk with your head high, right? You naturally get those feelings to your body knows what to do, right? So everything literally gets connected. And if you just do those basics, your body actually knows what to do, right? I have never seen a person that exercises and trains that walks around with a slump and just sort of like, no, I've got no energy. They're all out there. It's very
Yeah.
much like structure of the body is different, stance is different. So it's huge. It impacts you on many different levels. Another thing I really do, man, and I kill this. I listen to audiobooks 24 hours a day and it's really funny. So I have it in my pocket and I've literally got this recording going on and on and on in the background while I'm cleaning my house, while I am driving, while I'm shopping. And people say I don't have time to read and shit. Neither do I, honestly. But I find a substitute. And what people don't realize is that that constant sort of background information or wisdom that's coming through, a lot of the time your subconscious is actually picking it up, but you're just not consciously aware, right? So it's like we listen to so much bullshit outside. I'm just literally tuning into what I want to listen to. And it's been amazing because I tell you, repetition is what changes your subconscious. And to repeat these books, repeat the info, and it's about hearing the same information in different ways. It does get through. And so for
Yeah.
me, listening to this kind of info or downloads or whatever, wisdom from all these different walks of life. I mean, we've got no excuses now. These people are available on audiobooks, on
True.
Instagram, on YouTube. Like you got access to everything. It's where you're choosing or what you're choosing to listen to. So that's a huge hack for me, is that I'm constantly listening and I love it. I honestly love it. And that's made a massive, massive impact in my life. What about you?
I think the one thing that we both have in common, that I'd love to kind of give a shout out to is Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Okay.
who has definitely shifted my life around in tremendous ways. I don't think I was really a meditator.
Mm-hmm.
My excuse was there's so much noise, I can't stop the noise. I can't stop the
Yeah.
noise, and I close my eyes and it gets really loud and I can't. And there was something about just listening to him, and you're right, he's, like, there's so much access available to this wonderful human being. And so I started listening to some of his talks and conferences, and so then I was intrigued to actually, look into what the meditations looked like. And there's a bunch online, and then from there I started buying some of his meditations, and honestly, there's something magical that happens in meditating with Joe Dispenza, because he takes you into nowhere, no place, no time, and
Oh, one.
no one, and you disappear and you become no one. And so who do you create being no one?
Spot on.
Nowhere, no
Spot on.
place.
And what I love about him is that for people who, like you said, have not been able to meditate or have a resistance to meditating, he's a guided meditation, right? So he allows you to not have to think too much of trying to keep your mind still, right? So all you have to literally do is follow his voice. And I felt that's why I got into meditation, because it took away that whole aspect of what do I'm going to try and not think. Okay, I've got to get into this like quiet space, and it just cut that out. It just made my mind just focus on the one thing, just listen to him, let it flow, follow that. And what I love about it, he has had that much experience in his own life, and he has tried and tested so many ways. His testimonial videos are out there for everybody to look
Yeah,
at. He's fucking phenomenal.
brilliant.
I've been able to get my kids involved because it's such a nice way of introducing meditation to them. Now I try different forms and stuff, but I do a Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation every day. And I love it because it's something that he's got kids ones that he does. He's got a walking meditation. Have you tried that? He's got a walking
Yeah,
meditation. It's
yeah.
phenomenal. And so you're right, like meditation is a huge part of me. My parents tried to use meditation when I was younger, but it came from a very spiritual, not spiritual, religious background. It
Hmm.
was like, if you're religious, then you meditate, you sit there, and it just didn't feel right, and it just felt like it was boring and horrible, and I didn't want to sit still, and I didn't want to do that. But with Joe, it's science, it's science and spirituality, and that's what made sense to me. And yeah, it's definitely a massive one in my toolbox. Another thing that I really, really make sure I do is to feel through emotions. Like, really, if I'm having a really emotional day or a moment, man, I do not distract myself. I do not try and, be busy and have an activity and fucking hang out with my friend. And I really invest in feeling through that emotion. And it
Yeah.
could be just crying the fuck out of my eyeballs on that day, like lying in bed and feeling through and sitting with myself. And I think that's been a huge addition in my life only in the recent years, because I used to believe feeling was such a weak thing to do.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
and so that's been a massive massive one for my growth, and to actually improve and develop myself is to feel through feelings. And one of the ways I do it is to not label the feeling but just feel it,
Mhm.
so that's really helped me.
Yeah, I think that one has been a new one for me. Definitely trying to honor more the what they call the negative emotions, right? The
Mm.
But really feeling the anger and the pain and the frustration, and being tired, you know. And I've been doing that. I've been catching myself, and it has helped me doing it also by raising my daughter to be in that, right? Because she's 6.
Amen.
And so usually a little girl, oh no, don't cry. Don't cry. So now I'm like, you want to cry? Cry. Cry. Like let's have a good cry and cry out, and she'll be like, ah, and then she's like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right? And so
Yeah.
she teaches me And I teach with me being honest with my feelings. I teach her, and she shows me how to really do it. If that makes sense,
Yeah, absolutely. It's
you
almost
know?
like a checking system, right? She gets you to have to do that.
Yeah, yeah. And so there's moments that that I have now gotten to the point where it's like, okay, I need to cry.
Mm.
Like I cry, and I cry like her. And usually it'll be more at night when she's asleep, but I'm not gonna wake her up. So I take my pillow and I'm like, ah! But and it feels much better. I have a beautiful. My parents have a beautiful house on the beach with no neighbors. And when I was going through my breakup, I would go out there and just yell,
Yeah.
like till I couldn't yell anymore, and I would lose my voice, and it was just so refreshing.
Yeah. That's like that animalistic pain that's stuck,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know? And you know what actually now that you mentioned that, breath work is fucking amazing for that. It's really amazing to bring up all the stuck emotions. Like I've really got into breath work. I mean, I know Joe, again, touching on him, he speaks about breath work and I used to resist it. I'm like, dude, that's just a waste of time before the meditation, the main thing. But no, I don't miss breath work at all. Every day I do it with just before my meditations and I do notice the difference. And man, I've had some fucking deep releases. And I've had those animal cries. It's almost like, man, and then when you look back, you think that was stuck in me.
yeah,
That's what causes disease. That's what causes discomfort and pain, and people are on so much medication because of that. Um, another thing that I have learned to do in my life too, Vanessa, is if something's going down, if some circumstances showed up, I used to resist the fuck out of it. I used to feel so discomforted by what's going on, and I used to push it back because I didn't want it. And reading, some amazing books like The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, I've learned to actually honor the moment for what it is. And once you honor what is, you ask yourself empowered questions like, what is this trying to teach me? What is trying to emerge through me? How can I best serve this moment? Right. And it's such a different space to come from, instead of like, fuck, this makes me feel shit, I don't want it, to, okay, what is this moment trying to show me, and how can I best serve this moment, is a
right,
very different angle.
right.
And truly, when you get to that place, you know what? You work with life, you flow with life, you do not have resistance. And that's not like you do it once and you've got it down pat. This is a practice. All this shit's a practice. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
this is not about just doing it once and twice and you got it and it's in your system. No, this is a conscious effort on a daily basis, and different things show up. So I don't want people to think that, oh yeah, we got it down pat, we don't have struggles and we don't have resistance. No, we do. But then these are the things we apply,
yeah,
right, to
yeah,
actually move one step forward.
yeah. I agree. I think one of mine. I wake up in the morning, and that has changed my life. Um, to do I did 100-day challenge of being grateful, and that's how I started my journey. And so I would wake up in the morning. I'd pick up my phone. Day one, what am I grateful? So I started with my
Nice.
house, my daughter,
Mm,
my health. And the more you start really doing the 100 days, you start realizing that
plenty there. There's
God, it's
plenty.
electricity,
Yeah. Yeah.
water,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it really goes to such the clothes you're wearing,
Mm,
shoes. I mean, and I recommend this because there's something that happens after the 100 days that just is, and now it's part of you. It's a part of you. So I wake up daily And before I open my eyes, I say thank you,
Mm,
right?
there you
And
go.
that has really helped.
Yeah, that's a big one. Or having a journal, people can do it in different ways. Um, Definitely agree with that. Um, what else do I normally do? A big one I've noticed is food as well. Food does have a massive impact, especially if you've got a lot of heaviness going around in your maybe life situation. You do not want to eat food that makes you feel horrible, like sluggish or just unmotivated. Food plays a
Process.
absolutely, man. I've tried and tested this. Like, I have been going through shit, say, and then I eat shit food. Oh my God, I feel horrible.
Yeah.
No motivation, no, zero. The moment I start juicing and just getting into that zone, you know what? I feel different. So food, as like, and these, not everybody has to apply all of this. This is just so that you can take from it what you want. For our
Mhm.
listeners, they can maybe take two and do two of them and start off with just even one, right? But believe me, in order to change or shift, right, you have to make different life choices. You have to implement different behaviors. You have to. You can't expect to be doing the same life, living the same life, having the same thoughts, be acting out the same way, and then you're expecting for a miracle, like someone's going to come down, save the world, and tell you, okay, your life, you feel great, this is on track, and that's happening. No, we have to start making those choices and implementing the steps ourselves, and
Yeah.
it's different for everybody, but you've got to start. You've got to start.
Yeah, food's a big one. I think food is definitely, I call it the gas that you're putting in your Ferrari, right? Are you
So true.
putting premium or are you putting just crap? And at the end of the day, it really reflects. I do a lot of retreats here, and I go. I'm mostly a vegetarian, but I'm a big foodie, so I will dabble into absolutely everything. And
Mhm.
I love, a nice piece of meat, and I love my cheese, and I love to drink a nice glass of rosé. So I do dabble in absolutely everything. But at the end of the day, there is no doubt about it. When you go on a vegan diet, everything changes. There's no doubt about it. The clarity that is there is like no other. No other. Can't beat it. And
Agree.
I think it's just something for you to even maybe try out. Try out 3 days. You cut out all carbs, all dairies, all meats. Uh, there's you might be hungry on day one, yeah, but there's something that happens on day three that you just can't explain.
Agreed. Very true. And I'll give you one more from my side. And my other thing is, I've noticed that whenever, again, anytime there is some sort of happening in my life, I realize, based on what science even tells us, where you put your attention is where energy goes. So I've really loved learning new things. I think diverting your energy into something that's productive and creative also helps a lot. So whether it's like you take a course, whether you start painting, whether you start doing something very new and different, that learning actually also helps you to redirect your focus and your energy. And I have, even us starting this podcast, right? We've had so much learning, we've had so much growth. Our attention and energy is used to create, right?
Yeah.
And imagine we have a shitty day and all we're doing is thinking about the shitty day.
It
Or
gets
we've had a
shittier.
shitty day. What?
It usually gets shittier.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you then take the same energy and you're like, okay, well, today I have to make my podcast, or I want to create content, or I want to put this out there, I want to paint, I want to make a garden, even design a herb garden, anything, whatever is your thing, man. When you direct energy to create, you'll notice that more of that energy starts flowing as well. Because everything is about energy, and it's like, how do you utilize these sort of rituals, behaviors, actions to just get that energy in the right sort of focus and in the right flow state, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's, and that's why I think that the waking up and being grateful already puts you in a different space.
Mm. Amen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you have any more to share, or are we done,
No,
woman, with our
I,
secrets? Our
I
secret.
think that's I don't, this is not like a routine, but plant medicine.
Ah,
Plant
damn it.
medicine
I
is
want to try that. You know, I'm hanging to try that with you, woman. You
is
know.
we'll have a whole podcast on plant medicine and what's out there, but plants don't lie to you, and they show you who you are, the good, the
Mm,
bad, the ugly, and they come to kind of just show you and remind you who you were and how you were made and who you are and how do you advance. And it's so funny because there's that initial fear in
mm.
most people that take plant medicine of, I'd rather not. I'd rather do anything than look within, because this is really going to make me look within.
Yeah.
And I think we're so used to, prescription drugs and or alcohol to kind of numb it. And this is more of a dive in.
Yeah,
Uh,
a dive. This is this is you being drowned, diving in, head pushed under the water. You
no. But and I think that's definitely, this is for any process is, I think it's an amazing gift.
Yeah,
It's an amazing gift. So
definitely on my list. Definitely on my list.
yeah.
Let's run it off, girl. We're done. I think we gave out some amazing tips, and I would love to hear back from our listeners and to
Yes, please
see if
share with us, what kind of regimens do you do? What do you enjoy? What don't you enjoy? What do you struggle with?
yeah, and also
Um,
if you guys end up trying any of ours, we would love to hear some feedback on how you went and if it made an impact. You can also expose or share these with your kids, so do let us know, because it's all about creating that community and that support, for all of us.
Absolutely. All we want is to change the story, right? So thank you so much for sharing your empowering habits, Miss Aisha. And I will see you on the next podcast.
Thanks, Vanessa, and I'm glad, and thanks for sharing yours.
Bye.
Bye.